My name is Veronica Kalbik with a student ID 20240608-032, and I am a student of C.k.Tedam University of Technology and Applied Sciences, the Mathematics Department. So today I'm going to be delivering on the topic misconceptions on matrix in mathematics. When we talk about misconceptions, what are they all about? When we talk about misconceptions, it's all about a wrong idea or an incomplete knowledge out of a topic due to misunderstanding. So one can get a misconception due to a concept that was not well explained or due to the fact that the person has not understood the topic very well. And so as far as my topic has to do with matrices, I will align myself to that. When we talk about matrices are powerful mathematical tools used in algebra, transformation, statistics, and computer sciences, and more. However, many students struggle with concepts and make errors. And so the purpose of this study is to highlight the common misconceptions and how to help you overcome those misconceptions. Now, matrix is just all about a rectangular arrow of numbers. The numbers in matrix are called elements. The order of a matrix is the number of arrows by the number of columns. Please note this. I said the number of rows by the number of columns. That is very important. And so immediately I would like to talk about the common misconceptions that students struggle when it comes to matrix. And so the first one, because students are already aware of normal writing of numbers, they feel that when a number is written, for example, I've written a number like 1, 2, 3, and so on. So students feel that if matrices are being written, and so I have a bracket, so something like this, I have a matrix of 2 by 2, that is 2 in a row and 2 in a column. So I have 1, 2, probably 3, and 4. And so, because they are already used to writing of numbers, they probably think that you can write this as 1, 2, 3, 4. That is a major misconception when it comes to matrices. And so matrices are written with gaps, no comma inside it. And so we should all note that. Now, how is the correction done? The correction is that one should know that matrices are not written with commas. It's written with gaps. Once you write your 1, give a space or a gap to write your 2. When you write your 3, give a space to write the 4, depending on the type of matrix that I'm giving to you. Now, another most important misconception that I would like to talk about is the addition and subtraction of matrices. Now, how are additions and subtraction of matrices done? We should note that you can only add or subtract matrices if they are of the same size. What do we mean by the same size? What we mean by the same size is that I have this example already on the board. And so I have my 1, 2, 3, 4. I have another matrix of 3, -2, 5, -1. And so in this case, you realize that they are of the same size, not necessarily the same elements. And so in this case, I call this particular matrix a 2 by 2 matrix, and I also call this particular matrix a 2 by 2. So I can say that my first one is matrix A, and my second is matrix B. In that case, we can never say that you can add a matrix of this form. I have matrix C as 1, 5, 3, 2, and matrix D of 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. It is not possible. And so this is what a misconception when it comes to matrix. We are saying that matrix can only be added or subtracted if they have what? The same size, meaning it should be the same number of rows and the same number of columns. So we can add or subtract matrices that are 3 by 3, 4 by 4, 2 by 2. But it is not possible to add a matrix that is 2 by 2 to a 2 by 3. In that case, you realize that they don't have what? The same size. Another misconception I would like us to consider is the multiplication. Now, in most cases, because students are already used to numbers at the beginning of the study, that multiplication is commutative. In matrix, we don't have anything like that. Now, let's look at this. If I have matrix of this A, 1, 2, 3, 4, I have matrix B, 3, negative 2, 5, negative 1. In this case, we want to multiply matrix AB. Now, if we want to multiply matrix AB, remember that when we are dealing with multiplication of matrix, we multiply the row by the column. Row by column. Very important. Now, in that case, if I'm going to multiply this matrix, remember that I'm dealing with what? Matrix A. Now, matrix AB is going to give me, I have 1 times 3 will give me 3. Plus 2 times 5, I have 10. I'm done with the first one. Now I am moving the same row by column. So I have 1 times negative 2, I have negative 2, I have 2 times negative 1, I have plus negative 2. Now we are still moving. I have 3. Now I'm coming to the next row. Row by column. So I have 3 times 3. I have 9. Plus 4 times 5, which is what? 20. I am done there. I'm moving to the next one. 3 times negative 2, negative 6. Plus 4 times negative 1, I have negative 4. In this case, we want to do a simplification. So my matrix AB is going to give me 3 plus 10, we have 13. 9 plus 20, we have 29. Negative 2 plus negative 2, I have negative 4. Negative 6 plus negative 4, I have negative 10. And so we'll say that our matrix AB is what we have on the board. 13, negative 4, 29, negative 10. Now, let's look at the opposite of it. We want to find matrix BA. So we are done with our matrix AB. We want to find matrix BA. Now, in matrix BA, my BA is here. Now, let's look at this. Now, this time around, when I was starting, I started from A. But this time around, I'm starting from what? From B. So look at this for me. Now, it is no more moving from A to B, but from B to A. So we start with what? A row and column. So look at this for me. So now I have 3 times 1. I'm going to get 3. Plus negative 2 times 3. I will get what? Negative 6. I am done with that first one. Now, look at this for me. So, row has moved with what? Column. Now, this row will move with the next column. So, 3 times 2, I have 6. Negative 2 times 4, I have plus negative 8. Now, I'm coming to my next row. I have 5 times 3, 15, plus negative 1 times 3, negative 1 times 4, sorry, I have negative 4. Now, I'm also done with that. Now, let's come to the next column and row. 5 times 2, I have 10, plus negative 1 times 4, I have negative 4. Now, when we simplify this, you will realize that 3 plus negative 6 will give us what? Negative 3. 5 plus negative 4 negative 1. I have 6 plus negative 8. I have negative 2. 10 plus negative 4. I have negative 6. So my matrix BA is giving me this. Now let's compare our answers. You will realize that matrix AB, we have 13 negative 4, 29 negative 10. And matrix BA, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, negative 6. So you will also come to realize that the elements of these methods are what? Are not the same. And so we cannot conclude that multiplication and the matrix are what? Commutative. So in this case, this is what I'm going to conclude. That matrix AB is not equal to matrix what? B. And so these are some of the misconceptions that students struggle when it comes to matrix. In that case, I will suggest that when teaching, let's include the misconceptions in the teaching. Because if you are teaching out of experience, you will realize that these are common mistakes that children make. And once they are making these mistakes, introduce the mistakes and let them know that what is going on in their mind might be wrong and not necessarily right. Prove to them and let them see and feel it in the class that it is wrong. Otherwise, if you leave it open, the student goes out and think that once multiplication is already commutative under natural numbers, and once you are dealing with natural numbers, it is also commutative under matrix, which is a misconception. And so I would like to end my presentation and say that matrices are really important because we have realized that when you are dealing with matrices can be used in the banking industry. That's what they use for programming. Matrices can be used in computer sciences. What is used in performing our 3Ds and the rest, all is done by matrices. So I would like to end my presentation here and hope that you have learned something under misconception. And so when you find yourself performing matrix, you will know that this is a misconception and you will not repeat that misconception. Thank you very much and meet you next time.